Hey you guys, I'm here with Bill and couldn't be more excited because at the Off the Grid Rally we have this Camel Trophy vehicle and we are going to walk around the rig and Bill's going to tell us a little bit about it. I want to cover this. I asked Bill, can I touch your rig? Is that all right?
As much as you like.
Okay, cool. All right, so I can touch the rig. That's a good thing. All right. So why don't we start, before we start actually walking around the rig, why don't we start with a little bit of the history of this particular Camel Trophy?
Yep. Okay, so if you're familiar with Camel Trophy, this was a 1998 Camel Trophy Defender 110. It was a support truck, so it was the year of the Freelanders. So when Land Rover introduced the Freelanders, they brought the Freelanders to Tierra Del Fuego, South America, and they brought Defenders along with them to carry, at that time, mountain bikes, kayaks, and things like that.
And also to show the Freelanders the ropes.
Yes, sort of like that. So
I mean, come on.
If a Freelander got stuck,
then you had
this was what pulled it out.
You had the 110s there.
That was really the role of this. They had medical vehicles, so 110s were medical, they were communications, they were park trucks, so all of that type of stuff. And so each team had a support truck and a truck that they would run in the event.
Got it, got it. Now, do you happen to know how many Camel Trophy rigs are in North America?
I don't know for sure,
not
but
many.
I'm sure like less than probably 10.
Yes, not many. All right, so basic platform, Defender 110,
300 TDI.
300 TDI. Yep. Did you upgrade?
Yeah.
You
so
upgraded
I went
the engine.
With a 2.8 TGV, which is the variable vane turbo. It's the same 200 or 300 TDI platform.
Yep.
They just bored it out to 2.8 liters, and they put a variable vane turbo on it. So that's got this motor in it. My buddy's got my 300 TDI and his D90. So there you go.
Got it. Okay. On the freeway, how fast can you cruise? Say you're on flat, open freeway.
Cruise 65.
So you can cruise at 65.
It likes 65.
Okay.
It doesn't like 70.
Right.
So it's a very steep slope. Once you get past 65, the wind resistance gets overwhelming. It's a giant brick. So,
right. Now, characteristics on the trail, it's my impression that that's where it sort of finds its home. This has been described to me as a tractor.
Yes. So this is the tractor of the Land Rovers. Since it's got the diesel engine, it's basically 300 foot-pounds of torque at like almost idle.
Right.
So basically the way you ride this off-road is you just idle over pretty much everything, and you use the gears to do all the work.
It's so nice.
Kind of strange for somebody that's used to working with a throttle.
Yep.
It's a full manual, high range, low range with a center diff lock and front and rear ARB lockers.
And you're high-low, you're splitting every gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so first gear, second, you're splitting every gear.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are some things you've upgraded. Tell me a little bit about the winch. What is the rating of the winch? What are any unique characteristics of it?
This is a worm gear super winch. So these were the winches that they ran in the Camel Trophy, and the reason why they ran worm gear winches was because when they were running Camel Trophy, they were winching all day. So when you winch for 12 hours straight, most winches would overheat, have problems. Worm gear drives tend not to do that, so that's why they ran the Super Winches, and Super Winch Husky is the winch that they basically ran. So this is a Super Winch Husky, even though they have worn stickers on the side, which is kind of odd, but that year the Camel Trophies ran all of the Super Winch.
What is the, can you describe the main mechanical difference?
So a worm gear versus regular winch would be, this has a worm drive inside that has a much higher mechanical advantage. So it's a little slower.
Not like this.
Yeah, it's like this, right? With a pinion going along the other side.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So much better at running for a long time. So that's
okay.
thing. And this has been upgraded with synthetic line,
Yep.
which I think is the greatest upgrade because it saves weight, and you can put your weight in your bumpers instead of having to deal with, carrying a winch around.
Yeah,
and
bunch of steel.
so a lot of the upgrades on this truck have been done for either two purposes. One for usability, just being able to drive it day to day, and the second reason was to be able to use it as a camping vehicle, so living out of the truck. So you'll see a lot of the additions that we made, or I made, basically was so that I could take it to events like this, feel comfortable, not have to sleep in a tent on the ground, things like that. So those are the kind of things that we'll go over. So like upgraded headlights.
Yep.
Right? I mean, the standard headlights in this truck were 1975 technology. These are now LED, you know, nice. So they bright. You know, same thing with signals. I wanted people to be able to see me because this truck doesn't have third brake light. It doesn't have ABS. It doesn't have all the things that modern trucks have. So, you know, the more visibility you have, the better.
Yeah, and it doesn't exactly stop on a dime.
No. Even though it has brakes from an airplane, it's made by Lockheed. It does not stop on a dime.
You got a lot of light up here.
A lot of light, yeah. So hella, these are the HID lights. These were kind of high tech back in the late 90s, 2000 when I got the truck, and basically retrofitted it. And these are great, but the stock Defender 110 Camel Trophy lights are the Hellas.
Yep.
So those are the stock, what they ran, and they put them up high. And the reason why you want them up high is just so you can get that outside view of what's going on. So you can see their little canter to the side. They have the fogs and the spots. So you've got the fogs, so they give like a more wide view, and then the spots to go way out. High lift, of course.
Cool.
You know,
High lift. You gotta have the. You gotta have the high lift. That's right.
You'll see, you know, most Defender 110s. They don't have a shovel and a pickaxe on the front, and that's kind of a Camel Trophy thing. So you won't see that on most Defender 110s. So those little accessories that they put on these trucks, built for the trail, right? So it was meant for daily use, digging itself out of bad situations.
Right. You have BFGs on here?
Yeah. These are the, you know, KM2s mud trains. They're great tires, as you probably know. They're probably kind of the standard at this point. It's got a snorkel, so as a diesel, it's very happy under the water. So put a snorkel on it, keeps the dirt out of the air cleaner, and also for water crossings and things like that. So.
How much does having cool air coming into the engine bay, how much do you think that improves efficiency?
I don't think it has much to do because it has a big intercooler, but I think the real important thing is to try to keep clean air in the engine, right? So you don't have to change your filter out all the time because it's up high instead of sucking the dust of everybody else's, dust that they're kicking up. So if you're on a big run with a lot of trucks, this is really saving the day for you. And then the other thing is, if you do a water crossing, you don't have to worry.
Right.
This truck doesn't really have anything electrical to worry about. The whole thing runs on a 9-volt battery, so it, doesn't really care. It's mechanical injected. As long as the engine is running, basically, you can't kill it, unless you stall it, right? So.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so some sliders. Those sliders are just standard fare?
Yeah, they're Safari Guard sliders, just old school, but they work. As you can see, they've been well used. This truck it has pretty good clearance.
Yeah, it does.
So you don't really run into them very often. But as you can see, this is the kind of official sticker that came with the truck back in '98. And then we've got kind of some accessories. This truck, as you can see here, this is the Finland's, I think Sweden and Finland. This was the team that had this truck, so I didn't take any of that off.
Is there anything you want to tell us about the interior of the rig? Either navigation or anything else that you find handy?
From a nav perspective, I mean, I have a tablet that I use for most of the nav, Gaia, GPS. I use the maps. I have a ham set up, so I use a Yaesu, and then I've got full instrumentation and all the switches and everything, and then we've got the above the driver, the radios are all up there with lighting and everything, so that helps with dealing with communications when you're on the trail and you're up a incline or something. You can either talk or the passenger can talk on your behalf if you're busy trying to manage the gears with all that's going on there.
That's right.
So there's this is a manual truck, so it doesn't have that wonderful automatic like you have where you can just tickle on the throttle and it'll just hop up rocks. This you have to actually drive, so it's a little bit more difficult than that. The interior also from the Camel Trophy, they put a 10-gallon extra diesel tank underneath. So it has underneath the passenger seat, it has a 10-gallon diesel auxiliary tank. So They put that on pretty much every Camel Trophy truck for the range. So you can actually fill it from the driver's seat. You pull the seat base out and you open it up, and there's a big hole, and you just squirt in the diesel, and there you go. And there's
properly
a lever
vented,
inside.
of course, right?
Yeah,
Properly vented.
Well, it works.
It
I
does
don't know how
work.
they did it, but yeah.
Cool.
So it has an inverter inside the cab as well for 110 volt power if you need it. That runs off the battery. Dual battery system.
Do you have any?
IBS dual battery system.
Does it cut off? Does it have a cutoff?
Yeah.
To protect the starting battery.
Protects the starting battery, and the auxiliary battery basically runs the fridge in the back and the radios.
Do you have solar on it?
Yep.
The
So
trickle
it's
charge?
got a 60 watt panel up on the top of the tent, and it's wired up through the interior. So if it sits all day, it just sits there and charges that fridge and makes sure the batteries are happy.
Yep.
Making sure both the aux battery and the standard starter battery are ready to go.
How do you like looking over that tire when you're going up a hill and you're
So looking
going
over the tire is
going over the
probably like one of the hardest things about driving this truck is you can put a tire on the front and a tire on the back, so you could actually carry 2 spares in this truck. That's why they do that. These tires are a little bigger than stock and a little thicker, so it makes it a little worse.
Yeah.
The standard bias ply tires, of course, you can't get those anymore. Michelin XELs, but we substitute these. So yes, it's a little bit ornery, as you probably noticed, and can be a little hairy when you're looking down the hood when you're up a hill. So
I keep nodding and saying.
Spotters are very useful.
Very useful. I keep nodding and saying, I had the opportunity to drive one of the Camel Trophies on the way up here, so I'm understanding a few of these characteristics.
Of this truck.
Yeah.
So no terrain response mode on this truck, unfortunately.
Right.
No anti-lock brakes. No. It's just.
Let me ask you. Your rig. I want to ask if it has the same characteristics as
the one you drove.
Yeah, number 1 over there. At 65 miles an hour, I noticed when I take my foot off the gas right away, there's some torque steer and it kind of goes to the right a bit. Does yours do the same thing?
Mine's
is it characteristic of the...
it's probably a characteristic of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Also, his is up a little higher, maybe. So it's all about how much, these are rather thin, built for the trail, right? So they're kind of like a Jeep wheelbase, but it's a pretty long vehicle, so it's got that kind of long wheelbase. This is a 110-inch wheelbase. The Defender 90s were 90 inches, so more like a Jeep.
Yeah.
This is more like four seats, right? So this has enough room. A lot of times these support trucks would carry film crews, journalists. So when they ran the event, the journalists would sit in the back and run the event with the support trucks. So yeah, so kind of crazy.
All right, that's the straw right there. That's where it drinks.
So this is the tank, and if you kind of details that you won't see on every vehicle these days, right? So this is a fill cap for being able to fill in the field, right? So this is designed for jerry cans, right? So this is designed so that you can run up with a jerry can, fill it up right off the roof rack or wherever you carry your fuel, and keep going. If you want to bulk fuel, you can just take this out.
Wow.
And
that's
direct
just
shot into the tank.
Straight into the tank.
Straight in, yeah.
There's nothing getting in
There's
your
no
way.
filters or anything, right? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They have a lot of these weird features like this that you would never imagine you would find on a normal vehicle. But they're kind of fun, right? When you go to the gas station and you pull your gas cap off and you literally set it on your tire and you go in and fill up, it's a little different. Anyway.
Yeah.
How do I...
Let's see. So you've got this. You got the sliding platform with the fridge on it.
Yeah. So I have a platform. I built this myself just because I like to be able to have full access to the back here. I've got my fridge. It's a National Luna dual, so it has both a freezer compartment and a fridge.
How much weight do you think that'll support? It
Well,
looks pretty
they say
stout.
it'll hold 500 pounds.
Okay.
So, I've stood on it, no problem.
Okay.
And I can work on the roof while I'm, got this out, and no problem there. So one of the best features that everybody loves about this truck, they always say, hey, wait, it's got a beer tap on it, right?
Yep.
Well, it has official beer tap, but it's actually water, so you can just, and fill up, and it's got a 15-gallon tank inside,
Wow.
which is awesome, right?
Oh,
so
that is
if you're
awesome.
dry
Just the-
camping,
yeah.
or if you're, so we do a lot of Mojave, we do Death Valley and places like that. You need to bring a serious amount of water for each person, and you really don't have chances to refill.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I've got 2 jerry cans, one fuel, one for diesel, and the other one for water. I could run 2 waters up there if I wanted to. So that would give me 25 gallons of capacity. So 3 or 4 people for 3 or 4 days. They drink people drink about a gallon a day, I figure, 4 liters, 3 or 4 liters. Minimum you'd need is like a liter each person. So pretty cool. It's got a drawer system underneath that stores recovery gear. And other miscellaneous stuff. Power tank for airing down and airing back up.
Do you have any power tools that you have?
I do, but I don't usually bring them just
Right.
because, like, unless I'm planning on really hurting things, and I
Yeah.
try not to do that. So, hence the
We
be
don't
a
like
better
brakes.
driver, right?
Yeah,
So,
we don't like broke trucks.
yeah, and then it's got a Dixon Date tow hitch on the back that can. I put my motorcycle on the back when I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I can carry my little 250 dual sport motorcycle back here, and it fits. I've got a light here for. You know, if you pull into a campsite in the middle of the night and you need to light everything up and, you know, set up camp, you can do that. I have a lot of friends that come with me. They tent camp, so we throw that on for a few minutes, get them set. It's also got lights in the back that are able to be turned on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that we can see what's in the back when we're camping. So it's, you know, it's basically ready to go for anything you'd ever need for going on board. It's got a
You can
table
just
up
leave.
here.
You can just leave.
Yeah, table up here. This is your get out of Dodge truck, right?
Right, exactly.
And your pickaxe from the front that fits on there.
Yeah. Now I see. So the sand ladders are sort of iconic on these Camel Trophy 110s.
Yep.
You have changed this from the stock setup.
Yep.
And now it is dual purpose.
Yeah, so I actually made this into kind of a, this folds down, and this window can open so you can reach inside. But this is great because it's just a little, you know, place to put things. You know, you always need table space when you're camping, right? That's the thing I've learned the most is like, you can never
that's
have
right.
enough
Flat
table
surface.
space. Flat surface
Yeah.
space is key. And you don't want stuff just stuffed into your truck. You want to keep it kind of clean. So this is one of the things that we do here, and this just basically lifts up and folds right up against there.
And then
snaps in.
they actually are.
They are real
sand
sand
ladders.
ladders that
Yep,
you can,
you can
use.
use them. Yep.
We've used them before. These
Cool.
are pretty
That is
extra
great.
burly, so they're
they look-
they're solid. They're not going to bend under
Right.
the weight of a truck. They might.
Now,
you know,
can you
depending on the
would you,
size.
if you had to bridge with these, would you stack up too?
Yeah.
You double them up. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then
LED
I've got
lighting.
the awning, right?
Uh-huh.
This is just simple awning. The awning is really just here to keep you wet. If you're in Death Valley, I don't know if you've ever been to Death Valley or if you've been to like the Mojave
I've been through
Desert.
it. Yeah, I've been
so
through it.
you know
Yeah.
there's not a tree within sight. It is so nice to just be able to pull up, grab a chair, put it under here, chill out, and this is kind of like your little area
Oasis,
to just
right.
be, you know, and it just makes the difference, all the difference in the world. And we can turn on the LED lights, but it's just a simple little switch that I wired in under here. But these are not kind of fixed. We can move them around, so we can put them on this, or we can put them over wherever we want.
Strip LED lighting.
They're
is
great, and they're
great.
cheap on eBay. Right?
Yep.
So you can't beat that, right? And at night, it makes a world of difference. It just lights up the whole place. Yeah.
All right, we picked our colors to go with your
Yeah, I
Camel Trophy
noticed.
rig. We
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
on purpose. So yeah.
Sand Glow is the stock Camel Trophy color.
Yep.
That's probably something you don't see on very many Land Rovers.
Mhm.
It's a very unique color. It's very hard to find.
Is this? It looks. If
looks
you compare, it looks
good.
bright.
Yeah,
it looks
yeah.
really. The paint looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, I just finished. I waxed it, so
Mhm.
you guys can kind of
Cool.
tell what was going on. But yeah, I mean, it does get kind of oxidized, but I just kind of got rid of that. So the good news is that you know, I'm trying to keep this truck to keep it lasting, so I want to keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm. All
And
right.
it's got Fox Racing shocks on the front, and it's got I don't know what it's got on the back, but it's got basically I think big old man emus on the back. So The front was a little bit kind of washy, so I put some Fox Racing shocks on it to
Great.
get it up to speed. So
Probably-
it's got remote reservoir and it's got tunables, so you can go up on the different settings. So you can go stiff if you want, or you can go really loose if you're on washboards and stuff like that.
Cool. What else should we know about your rig?
The only other thing I can tell you is it's got a disconnect sway bar underneath. So it does have a sway bar in the back and the front. Usually these trucks, when they do off-roading, they just disconnect everything.
Right. So you get the
get the articulation.
full articulation.
So it does have a small sway bar in the front, and the back it has a pretty stiff one, and that one is pretty unique. It's you can just switch it off. So you just basically switch a lever, and then the back disconnects. So that makes the
That's
back
nice.
able to articulate a lot, and that makes a huge difference when you're off-roading. So.
Great.
Other than that, it's got a full cage inside, so that's one of the big Camel Trophy things
know,
that they did to these trucks. Is
yeah.
they put this cage in there,
And it runs
it's
in
an
through the top.
external
Yep.
internal, which is kind of cool. So
Yep.
they did an external cage over the driver, and then they did an internal cage for the rest of the truck.
That's great. Cool. Hey, could we hear that
You want to hear
diesel?
the monster?
Can we start it and
Yeah,
then
sure.
we'll sign off while it's running.
Okay. Just start that.
Yeah, that's a nice sound.
Just the standard sound of it.
Yep. Low and torquey.
Yeah. It's all about torque, and this is what it will sound like when it's going over the trails, and that's what people can't get over. It's
Exactly.
like,
It's not.
wait, it doesn't sound any different, you know?
Right.
So you idle up like this, and that's what makes everybody smile when they see one of these.
Right. Exactly. You are a member of the Northern California Land Rover Club.
Yep.
And you guys have quite a broad reach in Northern California. You go like all the way through the Bay Area and further.
Yeah.
So
We're a pretty active club. It's
Yeah.
pretty fun. So
Yep.
if any guys are out there with Land Rovers and want to
Yep.
join in,
absolutely.
you know, join up the club. We have really good events. In fact, next weekend we have an event. We have our annual event. So,
Right,
yeah,
right. I'm gonna
Follow
go.
the hills.
I'm gonna go. Yes, I'm
come
gonna be
over.
there. Absolutely.
It's fun.
Um,
We'll have a good time.
So the website is NorCalRovers. I believe it's .org.
Yeah.
Yeah, NorCalRovers.org. Great club. Really appreciate you guys
Absolutely,
joining us
sir.
out here and
Yeah,
having
yeah,
this
yeah.
rig. It's going to be a
Should
lot
I
of
throw
fun
some
on the
lights
trail.
on?
Oh yeah, let's throw some lights on.
That's
There you go.
more like how they looked when they were out on the trail.
That's right. All right, thanks
All right.
again.
Thanks again.